So thanks to all of our panelists. This ends the first session, but we now go into questions and answers. There is a roving microphone. Before we carry on, there are two of them, I think. Before we go into questions and answers, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of a few people here that I missed out the first time. Apart from the embassies, we have Vice President of the Federation here, Michael Kashish, his wife. We have the President of the Youth, the BOMAC, over there, and I'm very pleased to see the young generation well represented. Actually, we have quite a good turnout of the younger generation, and a fair turnout of the white-haired federation as well. So, thank you all very much.
I have two questions.
Now, just a minute. Before we start the questions, whoever is asked to speak, please let's have your name first. And secondly, can we please have questions rather than statements and opinions? Although in some cases I understand that you may want to clarify something to do with a particular property, but please do not take too much time because there are a lot of people here who want answers to their questions. And also, if you think you know which one of the panelists should be answering the question, that will help. But please carry on. Name and question, please.
My name is Piros Porokaradambou. My first question is to Mr. Kandounas, and it's a political one. To what extent, given this case and the rest of the cases in the European Court of Human Rights, what is the room of maneuver they have, the two leaders, to agree anything different than these cases they say? This is the first question. And the second question, which is legal and is addressed to all distinguished lawyers there, is given the fact that any solution agreed is going to be approved by referendum, does this nullify or make weaken the right of the people who disagree with the solution they're going to decided by the two leaders to go to the courts and seek, to take back their properties through the courts?
Thank you very much. We are taking one question at a time.
Okay. About the room of maneuver for the two leaders, the first such judgment was the Kinaloiziru judgment. Do you think that the position of the two leaders at the time and subsequent ones changed because of the judgment? Do you think that the Turkish Cypriot leaders somehow did not know that these properties belonged to Greek Cypriots, and when the judgment came out, went to the negotiating table and said, oops, we didn't know, we are sorry, you can have your properties back? And do you think that if we lose, or had Dinaloiziru lost, the Greek Cypriot representative at the negotiations would have said, now that we have lost the Apostolides case because this idiot Kandounas messed things up, we are going to surrender our rights to the properties? Of course not. Their respective positions did not change. And these cases are legal cases. They are not political cases in any way. I mean, even though this judgment has been described as a political one, I would only describe anything as political if, in a practical way, can influence the outcome of the negotiations. It does not, and it will not. Now, whether the referendum will will nullify the rights or not? No one can answer that. I mean, maybe someone else on the panel will disagree, but as far as I'm concerned, my opinion is that nobody knows one. If there is a settlement, and which is approved by a referendum, and so feels that his property rights or any rights have been violated, they can always take the case to court, probably to the European Court of Human Rights, and it is for that court to decide. It's not for either myself or anyone else to do so. Of course, people are free to pursue what they belong to be their legal rights. I mean, this is my opinion.
Thank you. Will Kostas please take the next question? The second question.
Oh yes, I think there is a risk, and I think we at Lobby, during the period leading up to the Annan Plan negotiations, we took legal advice from eminent lawyers in London, and we publicised them on this particular specific point, so that the community knew that if a proposal was put forward and approved by the populace, that there was a significant risk that these rights you have to these properties could be extinguished, and that the population, through this consensual approach, if there was a referendum on both sides, there was that risk, significant risk. And we had to publicise that because Lobby for Cyprus was not in favour of the Annan Plan. So it is a valid question. There is a risk that obviously we have the legal situation, the legal framework, which we're trying to ensure that our rights are protected. But as Konstantis said, that obviously there is the political negotiations. I don't agree with Konstantis that I'm not sure I may have misunderstood him, but I do think that these sorts of cases, as Nick said, is the way we can try and create some leverage in those negotiations. They are different. It's a legal issue, it's not a political issue. But obviously the courts and the European Court of Justice in relation to this particular decision made it clear. And as did the English courts in the decision before the English courts in the Apostolides case. The law is clear. These are our properties. They haven't been taken away. They can't be taken away. Only we can give them away in negotiations. And I think we also have to remember that. And also remember that we have to make the point that we do want them back. And that's sometimes muddied in the negotiations.
Nick, something.
Just a very, very short point. I do try my hardest to forget the Annan Plan. It was something that Lobby objected from day one, but I remember, and someone can help me out here if I remember this incorrectly, but I remember that in the Annan Plan there was somewhere a statement that said that all cases to the European Court of Human Rights would be put on hold or withdrawn, and that is a clear violation of every conceivable principle of international law. And so I have no faith that any future plan won't have something terrible like that in there as well.
Thanks, Nick. I acknowledge also the presence here of Councillor Pampos Karalambos.